are now entering the horror sanctum.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, TJ, and we're excited to be joined by actor, producer, and dentist, Mr. George Hardy. George, welcome to the show and thank you for taking some time with us.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. What an honor to be here tonight.
Thank you. So you've been in several films, including Texas Cotton, House of Forbidden Secrets, Cyst, which is just absolutely fantastic if you haven't seen it. But you're most famously known for your debut film, Troll 2, where you play the dad, Michael Waits.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone say Troll 2.
Oh, hey, Scuffle Moss.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Time.
I did say Troll 2, but unfortunately, there's no trolls in it. It's just goblins.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry about that, buddy.
That's okay.
We'll get you back on though. We'll talk about some trolls sometime.
Okie dokie then. I'll get out of here.
Bye.
Scuffle Moss.
Bye, Scuffle Moss.
All right. So thanks, Scuffle Moss, for stopping by. So where were we? Troll 2. So I think we're gonna start with John with a few questions for you there, George.
Hey, John.
Hey. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? So oddly enough, about 4 or 5 years ago, I lived in Morris and Gardendale, Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching Best Worst Movie, first time ever. And I was sitting there with my wife, and I was like, this guy lives in Alexander City. I was like, I need to go get him as my dentist. And she was like, you're really going to drive 2 hours? But I just want to say, I love that documentary. I thought it was just so awesome. The movie itself is so good, but just that documentary is I really think it's one of the best documentaries about a film ever.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? You know, in the 80s, you were an actor. You go back to being a dentist. The documentary comes out. Was that weird to get back into acting after that? Or was it kind of like you were glad that it happened? What was that like, just coming back into that world after so long?
Yeah. So to explain a little bit to the listeners, we made a documentary called Best Worst Movie, which was about, let me see, we made Troll 2 in 1989 or 90 when it came out. And the documentary was made in 2006 I think it premiered at South Sidewalk Film Festival in 2010, I think. So, that many years after, right? And so we made a documentary about the world's worst, this worst film ever made, which at that time, in 2006, I got a phone call. But the way this kind of all started is I made this film in 1989 in Salt Lake. I was living there, and it was just, a train wreck. And we really didn't have any hopes about it going to the big screen or anything. But I got married, came back home, had kids, and started a dental practice in Alabama. And just out of the whim, on April the 11th, 2006, I get a phone call, and it is a person doing a radio documentary from Furman University on bad movies. And he said, did you know that Troll 2 is an underground cult film? I go, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, it's a world phenomenon. And it was on MySpace. This is way before Facebook. It was on MySpace. And he says, yeah, they're underground parties and all that. I said, you got to be kidding me. He goes, no, if you don't believe me, go to IMDB and check. I didn't even know what that meant, Internet Movie Database. And I went in and looked at it, and I just that night, it was April the 11th, and I started scrolling down and got to the very bottom of the screen, and it said, I mean, Alex, it says, well, no, at that time when I went to IMDb, it was double zeros, and it was number one worth of all the bad films. It was the number one out of the millions of films. And so go down the bottom, it says Troll 2 cast reunion party, first screening ever in the United States at Provo, Utah. And I flew out the day after. It was on April 13th. So the 11th is when I see this thing, and on the 13th I fly out. I mean, this just happenstance that it happened. And I thought, I gotta go. So I go out there and I meet about 7 or 8 cast members at the first screening in Provo, and I get tackled with autographs, and people want to, meet the dad from Troll 2, this really bad film that just became just notoriously famous from it. And so then later on, my on-screen son and I decided to make a documentary called Best Worst Movie, and that took about 2 years to make, and we went to about 28 cities in 8 countries. Wow. And filmed over 400 hours of film footage, and put it in just an adorable documentary called Best Worst Movie. That's what you're talking about now. Yeah.
I mean, it really does work, and it's interesting when you watch it, because you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the vibe just from, reading about you and watching the documentary that you kind of have both passions. Like, you loved acting, but you also love being a dentist because you're such a people person. Is that fair to say, that you kind of equally hold them in regard?
Well, I've been a dentist for 44 years, so that's but no, the acting thing on the side is just something I did for fun on the side. And I was a college cheerleader at Auburn, and loved to be in front of people, and I'm a big ham and all that. Just, I'm from the South, and kind of have that Southern charm about me, I guess. I don't know. That's what people say. Us Southerners, y'all are from Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so, So, so it just happened that it just made it kind of a hobby, and because I was in one of the worst films ever, and they loved this dad that I played. It became like kind of a cult icon, and so I get asked to be in other films, of which that's how some of the other films we'll talk about tonight came about. If you can't be in the best movie, why not be in the worst?
Well, and I think it's one of those things to where, in a way, it's kind of cool because it's so memorable. A lot of people make a lot of films, and you think about the movies that come out every year that are good and just kind of, they're forgotten, right? But like Troll 2 is one of those movies that's always going to be remembered in a way. It's kind of endearing. And I just think it's cool that you've kind of got this career going with it too, because even the movies that we've watched recently that you've done, I think, like Texas Cotton, I think that's a really, really good film. I think that is an excellent film.
Yeah, and I really got a different shot at acting that way. Tyler believed in me, and Tyler Russell wrote and directed the film, and I'm shouting out to him. He's a really up-and-coming director, screenwriter, and also cinematographer. And so it was a real honor to work with him, and of course to work with Gene Jones. Oh my gosh, Gene's in a couple of films that I'm in, and then Lou Temple was fantastic. Worked with if you've heard of Lou from Walking Dead, and there's Judd Lawrence, gosh, there's just so many great. These guys they do this all the time, and I learned so much working with them. And I'd love to get back in front of the camera again with Tyler. It'd be great. So Cyst was made in December, right before COVID hit, in December 2019. So
with the movie, with Troll 2, you were working with an Italian director. He's done a lot of very odd movies, that director. I just wanted to know, what was that like, working with him? I know there's always the stories of Italian guys being real intense, and they either don't talk, or when they are talking, you don't know what they're saying. What was that like working with him? Was that kind of a contentious thing, or did you just kind of roll with it?
Yeah, we pretty much rolled with it. That was done, of course, in '89, and Claudio who understands and speaks better English now than in '89. You know, because when we made the documentary, it was you could communicate with him. Now, Rosella speaks no English, but understands, I think. But yeah, we had no idea what, you know. If you look at the documentary, Best Worst Movie, you know, we had no idea what they were saying to us, and we just roll with it. We just, you know, you want us to do it this way? You got to be kidding me. You want us to like this? You know, and it's like, go away, monster. Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, he seemed kind of intense on the Best Worst Movie documentary. It almost seemed like he was like taking personal offense, like he couldn't get in on the joke with everybody that people actually do care about this because it was well crafted, even if it didn't necessarily make narrative sense that much all the time. Yeah. So
I think he now, yeah, they get it now.
I hope so. Have you seen and interacted with them, or he and his wife,
you know
much since the documentary come out?
This encourages me to call him. Yeah, Michael Stevenson, who played my on-screen son in in Troll 2, and I sometimes we want to. He's down in Chile now. He's filming the largest. Michael does a lot of industrial filming work, but he's filming the largest telescope that's being built right now in Chile. So Michael's down there, but it'd be fun to you know, to call Claudio again. I've got his number.
Yeah.
We wanted to do Troll 2 Part 2, but the language barrier it was too hard to pull it all together. You know?
Yeah. Does he and his wife own the rights to be able to make a sequel?
I don't know. I'm sure they do. Yeah, something could happen, but I just think they need the funding, you know.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm holding out for not Troll 3, but Troll 2 Part 2.
After watching the documentary for like the 5th time, I had an idea for a sequel. It's just found footage, and it's Claudio killing all of you guys from the cast because he's so offended by, you know, not even making fun of it, but just owning what it is. And it's him going after critics and the cast. That's the sequel right there.
You could probably make it with leftover footage from the doc.
Yeah.
You were a dog then, you're a dog now. And then he cuts your throat.
So I'm curious, like, I'm sure this was a wild experience to learn like 20 years later almost that, oh, wow, this is a phenomenon. And then all of a sudden it's just George, the popular family dentist, is suddenly having this whole kind of like weekend warrior career. And how long did it take before you started going to more and more cons and getting more opportunities to be another film?
Yeah. Well, we did a lot of that just for filming the documentary, so I haven't really done any cons too much, you know. Although Greg Sestero is a good buddy of mine, Greg from The Room, he wrote The Disaster Artist. He's all over the place. He's probably been to about 500 cities, you know, going around showing The Room and the anniversary.
Who was in Cyst, right?
He was in Cyst with me. That's how we got to know each other, and he's visited me at my house here. And we've just gotten to be good buddies, and he wants to do some more work, and he's trying to do a fundraiser right now for a new film. But if you follow him, you can see what he's all doing these days. But yeah, we might end up doing something together. I'd love to be back on film with Greg. It'd be great. He's a really great guy, and so he's connected me up with some con folks. I might try to get out there, and once I get more toward retiring from dentistry, I might get out there and do some crazy concerts.
You totally should. We have connections with the people that run the Nashville one and the people that run the Knoxville one. We can put you in touch if you ever want to come up this way.
Sure. Yeah.
I think you would be surprised what a line you could get.
Really? Well,
yeah.
My daughter lives in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I used to live there.
Oh, really? Yeah, Lily lives in Portland, and she said, "Dad, you don't believe this, but the Hollywood Theater is showing Troll 2," and I was all set to go, and it was on a Monday night, and it's going to delay me getting back to my practice, but there were some complications. I didn't go out there, but I understand it seats like 300-400 people, but they said close to 300 people came on a Monday night to watch Troll 2. So you're right. It's everywhere.
Yeah, every now and then we have a little theater here in Nashville that's over 100 years old. It's a historical landmark called the Belcourt Theater.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's,
Belcourt, sure.
yeah, and they show it as a midnight movie a lot of times. Actually, that's where I saw Best Worst Movie when it first come out.
Yeah, I know. I need to get up there and come up there and be with y'all when you show it sometime.
Awesome.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, I love Nashville. I need to go up and see all my buddies that are on the tour with Behold the Lamb of God tour. Yeah, it's be fun to run into all them again.
Yeah, yeah.
I filmed
you
a-
already
I
got the
did-
connections.
Yeah, I filmed in Nashville with a guy that was tied in with Tiff, and it's called Country Gold. But my scenes got cut out. I played Garth Brooks' dad or uncle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun doing that. Yeah.
He lives up here now. I have a friend that who's a little younger who went to college with one of his daughters who graduated at Belmont.
All right. Yeah. What a beautiful school. Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Just
gorgeous.
incredible. Yeah, I was up there not too long ago. Wow, such a beautiful city.
So,
Yeah.
so career aspirations wise, like what when you get a script, is there something you're looking for in a script? I'm sure people are like offering you roles and scripts all the time now, especially in horror films. Is there something that draws you to a project more than another?
Probably the director more than anything. I'll read the script, but it's the director and the connections you have, because I get invited to do some little things, but some of them are just a little bit some inexperienced work out there, So,
Yeah.
but Tyler's the real deal, and it's amazing that we were able to bring the connections in that we did when we made Texas Cotton and Cyst also. And I got to meet Eva, the main actress in Cyst, on a film that I was invited to Germany to film an homage to Troll 2 called Under ConTroll. And I met Eva Haberman. She's kind of the Nicole Kidman of Germany. And I got to be in several scenes with Eva, which then brought her to the States. She had never acted on American soil. She's just one of the most beautiful women in the world and just an incredible actor. And so we were able to work together and Cyst. So have y'all seen some of you?
Yeah, I just watched it yesterday. What was it like to get into that fight scene with a nurse,
That
nurse
was
lady?
such a good fight scene, like where she hits your knee with the little thing.
Is it you that throws like a needle into her, or does she throw like a needle into you? I forget.
Yeah, I don't know. That was all stunt doubles, which was really fun. I mean, because that was a really fun film. I had a blast shooting. More fun shooting Cyst than Texas Cotton for sure.
I love the scene where you're like, "You gonna give me my patent?"
Yeah, please.
So funny.
I want my patent. Oh, what a crazy horror film! It's kind of got that Twilight Zone feel to it, but it's so funny. Right after it came out, I was in Walmart in my hometown, and there was Cyst on the shelf. I couldn't even believe it. I thought, oh my gosh, Cyst is on the shelf. It's an adorable, horrible, gross, funny. It's just amusing. You either get grossed out by it or you just go, okay, I can get past that part with all the puss and all,
So you go and make a movie,
Mm-hmm.
you get your shot. It doesn't turn out the way you want. Years later, it becomes this huge success. It kind of reinvigorates maybe your side passion for acting, gets you some more opportunities. How do you handle that going from, the excitement of getting to be an actor, realizing that maybe it's not going to turn out the way you wanted, and then all of a sudden, all that excitement comes back because of all the love that people have for that movie, and it helps you get, other roles and progress as an actor?
I guess I'm kind of lucky because I don't really have a hope, or any disappointments, or I don't know how to explain it really. I'm kind of just going along for the ride and have fun with it. And if it if it works out that that maybe somebody would even listen on this podcast, want to invite me to be in one of their films, shoot, I'm along for the ride. I realize that I'm a general dentist and I'm not a professional actor really, but I've had fun. I mean, I actually had a lot of fun learning, and it's just life's just too short, and
Right.
it really is. And I just thought, wow, I don't, to play in a different role than just doing dentistry all my life, it's just, just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what all you guys do for your work, line of work, or whatever you do, your interest. But yeah, it's the spice of life, huh? So God, I would love to get back in front of the camera again. Yeah, Tyler and I are trying to cook something up actually again. We'd love to. Tyler's always got some great ideas, and Greg and I are talking about doing some things. In fact, I'm probably going to see him in a few weeks this summer. He's coming back through Birmingham in Atlanta, so I'll get to see him.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So I think I have a question that is probably on everybody's mind that everybody really wants to know the answer to. You went to college in Auburn and then got your degree in dentistry from Alabama. So War Eagle or Roll Tide?
Well, War Eagle for me because I was an Auburn kid. And at the time when I was going to dental school, that was the University of Alabama School of Dentistry, university in Birmingham. It's just called UAB, but now it's University of Alabama School of Dentistry. But it is in Birmingham. It's now on the Tuscaloosa campus. So
you said you just have fun, and I think I watched a few of your films this week. Most of them I had already seen, but you can always tell you're having fun in them, and that translates very well. Especially with Cyst, like I said, it's just such a fun movie that I just randomly found. I'm friends with Travis Ayers.
Oh, correct.
Yeah, and he's here in town.
I know.
And so that kind of attracted me to it. And then, like you said, you were at Walmart. I was at Walmart walking. I'm like, what is that? That looks beautiful. Like that cover just makes you want to pull it off the shelf. Which, as a fan of 80s horror movie, that's the key. Like, make the poster first and then revolve around that.
You're right.
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I also watched House of Forbidden Secrets.
Oh.
That had you, Ari Lehman, Paul Ford, Lou Temple, Lloyd Kaufman, ton of people in that flick. I don't think you worked directly with Lloyd or Ari. I think that was separately shot.
I've been in 3 or 4 films with Lloyd Kaufman, but never met him.
We've met him once. Kelly and I have met him once. He's like your uncle. Like, his handle is Uncle Lloyd, and he is like your weird, creepy, perverted uncle. He's amazing.
Such a cool guy. Super nice.
Oh yeah, and Tiffany Shepard just thinks the world of him. Scream Queen in Texas Cotton. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Under Control. I did watch that one this week. My favorite part about that is, though, you play Michael from Control 2. That was like the best part of the whole thing. Like, you're at like a talk show talking about goblins and them existing, or trolls and existing, and you're playing that same character. That was brilliantly written for that. Like, that part alone makes the movie worth watching. Yeah. And like you said, we talked about Texas Cotton already. It's on Tubi. I think most of these are on Tubi now, but
yeah,
that one, you play a cop trying to, like, Lou Temple is arrested. You don't think he's guilty, so you investigate. Like, it's a very good, like, little slow burn mystery flick. And your hair was amazing in it. You had amazing hair, facial hair, top of the head. It was amazing.
That was surreal. Tyler told you he wanted me to look like Michael Douglas. One I can't remember. Shoot, I forget the guy's name. He wanted me to look like some actress. He said, "Grow your hair out." So I did.
It worked. You should do it full time.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
With Texas Cotton and Troll 2 and the other, like, horror films, do you have a preference on films that you like to do? Like, did you like playing the serious cop role, or did you prefer like the dad in Troll 2, where you had probably a little bit more freedom to be a little bit wacky? Which one of those do you prefer, one over the other?
Well, I told Tyler, I said the next film I would make, I would love love to be in a comedy. I think it'd just be a heap of fun to do that. And it was a little bit like that in Cyst, because Cyst was just so campy. You know, it was just such a, it's so bad. Kind of, I don't know if y'all hear me well, but it's so bad it's good. It's just so. I'm all about giggles right now. You know, it'd be fun to have, be fun to do that. But you know, I don't know. Who knows what we might have kicking? You know, or even semi-horror, science fiction.
Well,
Yeah,
before
honored to be working with you, talking to y'all tonight. Really is. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, before we wrap up this episode, I have to ask: would you mind saying your famous line?
I know it. You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. Oh God.
Now I've always wondered though, like if you had an opportunity to do a different line reading of that iconic line, like do like a little, like whatever your favorite dramatic actor would be, like if it wasn't just the screaming, like what could that sound like?
We'd be like, I'll be back. Something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. Because you know, just the way that Rosella wrote that, you just kind of go, did I just hear that? I think that's what makes Troll 2 so great. If the listening audience have never seen it, that's the whole reason I'm on tonight, folks that are listening in, is I was in this really bad movie called Troll 2 that has led to all these other films that I'm in, but it's just the lines in it are just so, it's just like, it just delivers from scene to scene. Don't y'all think? You just go, what's the magic about this thing? Make it so bad it's good. And so many people just adore it. And I've got, you know, I've been to all these screenings of it and followed, you know, so many people that are fans. Found out that some people have watched it 200 or 300 times. You know, they've watched Troll 2.
Wow.
They put it on while they're showering every morning. Listen to it. It's like The Room. You know, I mean, what's the holy grail of bad movies? Is it Planet Nine from Outer Space, or you know? So how do you put lightning in the bottle twice if you wanted to make a sequel to any of these films? It just happened. They're little miracles that just happen on film, and that's the magic of entertainment. And so that that's what we were trying to do at the very end of the documentary Best Worst Movie. Well, if it is so bad it's good, is it really bad? Because obviously so many people adore it and love it. And the bottom line is all about entertainment and creativity, and it's also done so innocently done, and it's a PG-13 film. It's not really a bad film, and no bad languaging or bad.
Well, that's the way you judge movies. Does it
adorable.
entertain you? And Troll 2 absolutely entertains.
Yeah, and
Classic.
it does. It's just happened, and I don't know how in the world I end up, you know, to being in this film. I mean, it just happened, and that way that happened was just a fluke. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember how I even auditioned, but I went up to Park City, and I was taking some acting classes just for the fun of it, and a buddy of mine called and said, hey, there's an agent that wanted you to go up and audition. So I'll go up to Park City in 1989, the summer of 89, July or whatever, and I go in this smoke-filled room, which nobody smokes in Utah because everybody's Mormon, and it's the healthiest state in the United States. It's just a healthy environment living out in the
physically, not mentally.
Yeah.
Right.
Different thoughts out there for sure. But anyway, the bottom line is, you know, I went up and auditioned, and no one in the room spoke English at all. It was all Italians. And I cold read this thing. I could barely see the director because there's so much smoke in there. And I thought, oh God, I've messed this thing up. It was the next day I get a phone call and said, you got the lead dad part. And I go, what? You know, thinking, oh, you got to get. So it's a 13-day shoot. For me, it was a 21-day shoot for the whole thing, but I had 13 days to be there. And I was practicing dentistry at the time, and in the mornings I'd practice dentistry. I would go in and see some patients, and then in the afternoon to the evenings I would go and film. It was crazy. I don't know how I even pull that off. And here we are. It took me to really, I might get emotional talking about it. Really, you think, how do things happen in all of our lives that just, just kind of, it's just like fate had its way, and it's taken me. Troll 2 has taken me all over the world, from Dubai to Birmingham, England,
Wow.
to France, to Hungary, all over the United States, Canada, several times to Canada, through invites, to go Germany, to be invited to be filmed in Germany was amazing. So yeah, I mean, I just took it and ran with it, and it was just fantastic. New York University and Dubai asked me to come over and talk to their film class, and they flew me over, Michael Stevenson as well, and we got to go to Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's like, oh well, I might as well go for the ride.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely surreal how things just kind of happen at times. And you say you're going to get emotional, but you think about it. I know people who legit say this is their favorite movie, and like me, like I'm someone who's dealt with depression my whole life, and I have like go-to flicks. And there's probably people out there that are like at the end of their rope, and they're like, they put on Troll 2, and you pull them off that ledge. Like, it's very powerful. Like, you don't realize that until later in life, but you've definitely impacted people unintentionally, for sure. But you've definitely done that, and we all thank you for it, because, like I said, we've seen Troll 2 several times, and I adore it.
I've watched it for years. Yeah. And honestly, I think you should be really proud of the documentary too, because I'm a huge documentary buff, and I think the documentary is just as fun to watch as the movie.
Yeah. And let me say, if you're at a con ever and I see you there, I'm going to George Hardy before anybody. Like, you're the person I'm going to before any guest.
I'm telling you, this is a whole new lease on life. Like Troll 2 was. If you start the con circuit, you'll never look back.
Well, Greg's trying to hook me up with a guy named Zimmerman or something. Zenit. I can't remember his name, but I've been trying to get in touch with him. It'd be fun to go and sign a few autographs and do it. I'll see. I'd like to try one. Maybe I can come up there to one of y'all's big ones or something sometime. You can get in touch with me about it, or why don't you get the guy why don't you get the guy that puts these things on? He can get in touch with me. Y'all know how to get in touch with me now. So yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, that way I come up and meet you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. We can take you to all the good eating spots.
Oh God, yeah. I know. Yeah.
That's gonna do it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you're listening to this podcast, and follow us on Instagram too. Go check out George's films. I think they're all on Tubi. Majority of them are on Tubi. Texas Cotton for sure, Troll 2, and Best Worst Movie. Like you guys said, Best Worst Movie is probably top 5, top 10 documentaries I've seen, like especially in the horror genre. It's fantastic. Like, I've seen it probably 6 or 7 times. It's great. But you made it great. Like, your personality made it great. So
y'all made my Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
I'm gonna see y'all. Stay in touch with me.
All right, so let's head over to Nilbog, get us a double-decker bologna sandwich, and call it a night. For George, John, Kellen, TJ, I'm Jay, and until next time,
keep it spooky.